Hey, welcome to the video. It's great to have you here. You've probably heard a lot about data breaches and hacking in the news, especially over the last couple of years or so. But even though it's getting a lot of exposure, I still think there's a lot of people that are not taking security of their accounts seriously enough. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some tips and free resources for checking if you've been a victim of a data breach, and also the tool I use for managing account login information. But before I get into that, my name's Pete Moore from TechMyStressAway.com, and for well over a decade I've built thousands of websites ranging from lead generation and sales funnels, WordPress websites, e-commerce stores, membership sites, and everything in between. This is real life experience I'm sharing with you in my videos, not theory or opinion. Okay, so the first website I want to show you gives the ability to check if any of your accounts that's linked to your email address has been involved in any known data breaches that they have in their database. So I've got Google on the screen, and you can either access the site by just going straight to their domain name, which is haveibeenponed.com. But I'll type in Google have I, and then you can see there Google suggests number one. So this is the one we're looking for, have I been pwned? And in the results, it's probably going to be the first result. So it's haveibeenponed.com. So it's a P instead of an O, like owned. So if I click that, it's going to take me to the website. And the first screen you're going to see is where we can check if our email address, like I just mentioned previously, has been linked in any kind of data breach that's in their database. Now, there's a few other options across the screen, which I'll show you in a second, but I'm just going to give you a couple of examples of my email addresses that have been involved in breaches. So just to show you that it can happen to anyone. And I really don't want to freak you out with this, but it might just be something that opens your eyes to how vulnerable we are to data breaches. Okay, so the first one I'm going to check is a personal email address that I've had for many years. Now, when you first do the search, so I entered the email address here, I clicked Poned, and it's brought back this screen here where it says, oh no, Poned. So it's saying that it has been involved in 3 data breaches and also 1 paste. And if we scroll down, we can see it's going to give us more information. So these are the 3 data breaches that my email address has been shared with and online. So the first one is Adobe, which was 153 million Adobe accounts were breached. And it says here email addresses, password hints, passwords and usernames. So as you can see, even big companies do get data breaches, and all your information will be there for hackers to share with other hackers. So you really do want to be taking the security of all your different accounts seriously, and just to kind of show that it's not in your hands. So the best thing you can do is to make sure that you've got unique passwords on every account, because if you don't, you are vulnerable to what's called a credential stuffing attack. And basically what this is where a hacker will use previous information from data breaches, so say an email address or maybe username and password combination, and they'll try them on all the popular sites, so Facebook, and all different kinds of sites. And these kind of things can be done in seconds. They'll fly through loads of different things, little scripts that they'll have written, and they'll just be checking all these different accounts. So I really advise you to make sure that you haven't got the same password on any of your accounts. You need to have a unique and strong password on every account. Now, a bit later in the video, when I show you the tool that I use, I'll show how it's quite easy to kind of manage that. But if I just move on, so it's 3 breaches on this one here, and we can also see at the bottom we've got a paste. Now, usually what a paste is it'll be a website where hackers can share anonymously all the data that they've breached. So it's probably in some kind of like text file or CSV type format, and they'll share it with others. And this one's no longer there because it was from 2015, and you see it says emails here, so there's only 4,500, but my email address was one of them. And I'll quickly show you this site here just to show you an example. So this is it here, pastebin.com, and it will just have shown on this page and anyone could download it basically. Now, the other one that I want to show you is from a business related email address. Again, I've had it for many years. Obviously, the longer you've had an email and you've used that for various account logins, the more chance there is that it's going to be showing that it's been involved in a data breach. But I'll just quickly go through here. We can just see here this list contained 593 million unique email addresses, which is quite scary. And this was again compromised data was email addresses and passwords. We've got LinkedIn here, which the original hack was in 2012, but it was actually shared online by the looks of things in May 2016. And again, that was like 164 million email addresses and passwords. And we've got this one here, which was June of this year, where it was 43 million email addresses. So it can also be like lists of spammers. So it's not just always necessarily just hacking. It can be, shared with spammers. So you'll get all the spam emails. So I think, as I suggested, it's not to freak you out. It's just to kind of open your eyes, what you're kind of dealing with, and to just really start taking it seriously when it comes to managing your account login information. Now, there is a couple of other good things on here. There's this Notify Me, which basically what you can do is you can enter your email address, and this site, if anything like going forward comes up linked with your email address, they will notify you. So if I just go back to, I think it was this one here, I was on the notification list, so I got notified straight away when my email address appeared on this breach here. So it's just useful information to know as quickly as possible. Now, the other good thing is this password function, and what you can do is you can search. Now, even if your information didn't show on a breach, what you can do here is you can actually enter a password, or you can check your passwords, especially if you use the same password for all your accounts. Now, I'm just going to type in password 123 because I'm pretty sure that's going to be one that's on the list. And yep, there we go. So it's saying here that it's been pwned. This password has been seen 114,262 times before. So it's basically saying that it's been used in data breach and that it should never be used. So even if like I said, if your account doesn't show that it's been involved in any breaches, it's still worth kind of checking your passwords, because your password could have been used by someone else on a data breach. And what hackers will do is they will use lists of known passwords when they're trying to hack into various different sites and accounts. So I hope you just found this bit useful. Like I said, I really want you to take it seriously when it comes to managing your account information. And in the next part of the video, I'm going to show you the password management tool that I use and have used for quite a number of years, and it's quite useful. Okay, so the password manager that I use is Lastpass, which you can see the website on your screen here. Now, once you've signed up for a free account, you'll be given a 30-day trial of the premium account. But everything I'm going to be showing you on this video is a free function, so you don't need to worry about if it's part of the premium or not. I'm going to show you free functions, and also I'm not going to be going through installing and every single thing that you can kind of do with this software. Their documentation is excellent, and they've got tutorials and all that kind of thing. I just really want to just show you the things that I think are quite useful. So there's 3 ways you can access Lastpass once you've signed up. You can either log in directly through the website, which if we click login, that's how you get in there. You can use the browser extension, which is these 3 little dots at the top, which are available for all the major browsers. And also they do have a mobile app, which is also part of the free offering at time of recording of this video. So the way I'm going to access it, I'm going to use the browser extension. So I've clicked it, and what you will do is when you create an account, you'll create what's called a master password. Now we want this to be a long, strong password, and I think there is a way to recover it, which is this recovery help here, but I would advise to not forget what it is, or I don't know if you want to just put maybe like what it is in your phone, or create a little note in your phone or something like that. But we want this to be strong because this is like the keys to the castle, so we really want this to be strong. And also I'd also recommend turning on two-factor authentication. Now if you're not familiar with that, what that is when you log in, it will then ask you for a 6-digit code, which you can install an app on your phone. I use the Google Authenticator on my main account. This is just like one I've set up just for the video. And it does again have information on how to use that in their documentation and how to set that up, which again, like I said, I would strongly advise you do. But just for now, I'm just going to show you the rest of this. So I'm just going to log in. Now, when you first log in for the first time, normally it will take you to like this how it works page, but because I've logged in previously, what I need to do is I need to click the extension again, and this time I get this long menu, so I can open my vault, which is where all your information is stored. And this is like the home dashboard, so you have all these options down the side, and also you have this down here. So if you want to add a new site, or there's secure notes and share items, which I'm going to quickly go through. And also there's a couple of ways to generate secure passwords. So if I click that, I suggest a minimum of like 16 characters long, and we want a mixture of uppercase, lowercase letters, numbers and symbols. So we want to tick all these boxes, and you can just keep generating new passwords there. Now once you're logged in and you register for a site, or if you log into a site that you're already like have an account with, Lastpass will offer to remember it for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how to add a site manually. So this will be the login URL. I'm just going to use Facebook as an example, but obviously you'll put in the login URL here. Whatever you want to call it here, this is for your reference. So if you've got more than one Facebook account, you might want to add personal or something like that, business, different things, whatever you want to call it there, just so you can identify what it is. You can also create folders, so it will separate all the different things. So say you had one for you wanted like a social media folder, or say like hosting and domain names, or whatever, however you want to kind of split the different logins. Once you start having a few different accounts in here, then obviously you might want to start separating things. If you haven't got that many, you might not need to use that. This is where the username and password go, and you can put some notes about the account if you want in there. So I'm just going to save this, and you can see here this is what it will look like. You can do different views, so you can have like a grid effect, which will show there. I prefer this list one. And going forward, what you can do is you can click on this launch button, and then what will happen, it will open in a new tab, and it will fill in the login information you can log in. So like I said, you can go through the documentation just to kind of see where everything is, but this is just kind of a quick overview. You can also do secure notes. So say you've got something that's not like a login for a site. So if I add a secure note here, just to kind of show you. So you can type in anything in this box here. So if I go through this here, so you can give the example. So maybe like PIN numbers, or it says here like driving license, health insurance. So anything really that's not a login, but you just kind of want to store it securely, you can do that using secure notes. Now the next thing I want to show you, which is a really useful function, is this sharing. So what you can do is you can share your logins with other Lastpass users. So say for example you've got a developer or some kind of person that's working for you that needs to access your accounts. What you can do is you can actually share your login information with that other person as long as they've got a Lastpass account. So I mean, if someone's doing work for you, you can ask them to sign up for Lastpass. It's free, and just say that's the one you kind of want to use and for security. And what you can also do is by default it won't show them the password, so it will let them log in, but it won't show them what the actual password is. So that's just a quite useful function for sharing your login with other people. Next I want to look at this emergency access. So what you can do here is, say you wanted to share your account in an emergency. So if something bad happens, or obviously we don't really like to think about that, but should people need access for whatever reason in an emergency, you can actually add them to here. Again, they'll need a Lastpass account, and what you can do is, this is the email, make sure it's their Lastpass account email, and it will email them, and you can say it can either be immediately or it can within hours, days. You can set that here and how long after they've kind of triggered the emergency process will they be able to access the account, and you can also revoke that as well afterwards. The other thing I wanted to show you is in the account settings. Now, like I said, you can kind of go through all these different things and use their documentation, but these are just quite useful features that I wanted to share with you. Now, if I click on this Show Advanced Settings and scroll down, what you can do is you can only allow access in selected countries. So if I tick this country restriction, it's automatically ticked United Kingdom because that's where I am. So really, if unless I'm going on holiday or I'm working in another country or something like that, really it should always be accessed from the UK. So you can then discount anyone from any other countries from accessing the account. So it's just another security feature really, which I thought was quite useful. Now, if you already use a password manager, you can also import passwords and logins from other providers. So I think it's, if we click on Advanced and click on Import, you'll see here, so it says source. Now it can just be like a CSV file, and they've also got the top password managers, so one password, Dashlane, KeePass, so you can it's quite easy to switch over to LastPass. And the last thing I wanted to show you is Identities. So if you click on More Options and click on Manage Identities, now by default there's this obviously all identity, but what you can do is you can actually create what they call like sub-vaults. So let's say you have a personal one, or as it says here, home and work. So say you wanted to keep separate your like business account logins, just to kind of manage it and make see things a lot easier, especially if you've got a lot of login information, different accounts. So this is quite a useful function. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover in this video. So I'm going to wrap it up, but I do highly recommend LastPass. Like I said, free will probably be good enough for most people. And even if you want to go on a premium account, it's still relatively cheap. I'm not an affiliate of this. I've just been using it, and I do think it's a really useful tool, and highly recommend that you do, if you don't use this one, use some form of password manager. Okay, so if you found this video useful, please click the like button, and if you're watching it on YouTube and want to be notified when I post other videos covering tech and internet business tutorials and tips, then please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you've stuck with me to this point, I want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day.